Now recently you might remember I posted a video on the repair of this Arcam Alpha 1 amplifier. Well, basically I took it apart and at that level it suddenly started working. So I cleaned all the pots, blew it all out, put it back together, and it's been absolutely fine. The issue was it was really only putting sound out the left speaker, not the right, but it's 100% now. Right, so in this video we're going to have a look at the CD player that's over there that's skipping tracks. As you can see, I've got it partly disassembled. The issue is it's skipping tracks randomly, jumps around quite a lot. I think we bought it in about 1999, so you know it's doing pretty well. I'm going to keep this video pretty short because there's loads of videos out there about how to repair these if they're skipping, or things you can try at least. And there seems to be three common issues. One is the head needs cleaning with some isopropyl alcohol. Although I did read somewhere that some people don't recommend that, so who knows. The second thing is the little carriages that goes backwards and forwards. That's, you know, like an arm on a record player. I was going to say phonograph there. Wow, that's ancient. You know, the little rails might need a bit of greasing, or the rack and pinion system. The third possible issue is the little laser head, little glass lens, is surrounded by some magnets or something like that, maybe electromagnets, and there's a little bit of fine tuning done on that. And if the magnets have got weak, then apparently that could be game over. So I've just had a look at this unit and the model number. I think I can buy a replacement, but you know, there's no guarantee. Those haven't been sitting on shelves and deteriorating over time anyway, so who knows. But they're not too expensive, so I think first thing is we'll try and give this a repair on as many of those things as possible, and then if that doesn't work, we'll put a replacement head in. Okay, power's off. There's our little reed heads. We'll give that a clean in a minute, and I've just noticed down there it's made by Sony. Alright, so the weapon of choice this time is going to be our isopropyl alcohol. I quite like this kind of style where you just got a little bit of mist comes out rather than have to pour it into containers and so on. So I've got the case off, got the front off, and then there's the little remote control unit that sits in the corner here. That's removed. Taking the ribbon cable off for the front panel, and ribbon cable off for the CD player, I guess like power supplies, whatever they are. And then there's some little rivets that hold it on, and we got to that point, and I'm just trying to get the front cover off here. It looks like you're supposed to remove this outer cover. I don't want to break it, so I'm just trying to work out, should it come up, down, or just pull that way, and then this can come out the way, and then I can get in here. Basically I just want to strip this right down. I'm just interested to see how it works anyway. Right, there was one screw underneath just holding this in, and now it's out. Now to get this off, just looks like I've got to kind of prise it this way, and then it will slide down as we're looking at it. 30-year-old plastic, don't break on me. Oh, that looks good. Yes. Okay, so we've got the CD tray removed. So I'm quite tempted to remove this top piece here that holds the top of the CD in. Obviously it's got the tray in as well. That gives us a lot nicer access to the reed head there, although we can see most of it. And we can certainly see, well, let's just go through things in turn. There's a motor down there and the belt that does the closing. I thought after 30 years that would feel really terrible, but yeah, no problem. So I'll leave that for now. It's easy to get back if I ever need to replace it in the future. So our control board on the bottom, and then that's our cassette that moves backwards and forwards. So interesting, on this model you've only got one chrome bar, and on the other side it runs on, I don't know if that's PTFE or plastic top, and it wraps around, so it kind of, I suppose it's got shoes, I don't know what you call them, little rubbing feet on that side, sort of holds it in place, and then it basically moves on there. Now this, I don't know if you can tell on camera when I move my finger, but it is absolutely bone dry. You can feel it kind of stick slip like that. Nothing on there at all. Maybe a touch of lithium grease on there, but not much. And now I don't know if this side's supposed to be greased, because if it's PTFE it'll be okay as it is, but you know, if you put some on and then it gets into the mechanism, that's not good either. But you know, at this point it's probably worth trying, and if we end up having to replace it, it doesn't look too bad. I probably will take this off at that stage. The trouble is, can I get to the underside of that surface? Yeah, maybe. It's kind of through there. Yeah, I could probably get a little cocktail stick and just put a tiny bit on. Well, I've just been setting up and having a closer look, and I've spotted something. So if you look down there at the surface that it runs on, like the bearing, it's actually cracked. I can feel it on my fingernail, so yeah, if it gets to that point, it's probably going to jump. I'll bring you in close, yeah, you can see. I bet you can't buy spare ones of those. Yeah, it's gone all the way through, around the other side. Maybe it looks like where it is moulded, I don't know. It's just got a stress razor there and that's finally gone. Well, I think I'll just try and put some grease over the top and just hope it skips over. Not skips, but glides over. Oh, I've got some lithium grease here. I've had this for years. I use it on ball screws. You only need a tiny bit. Don't know if it's the right stuff for this, but that's what it's going to get. Yeah, I can see, well, I guess it's the motor now, so if I knew which wire it was, we might be able to hotwire it and get it to move backwards and forwards and to see if it moves smoothly. But anyway, for now, how far is it going to go? Yeah. Right, put a bit more on. Bit on there for good measure. I don't think it's causing a problem, but I don't think there's much to lose at this stage. I'll put a bit on that sliding surface at the back. Especially over that cracked bit. A bit on here. Wind it back. Alright, so we cleaned the lens, greased up this slideway and that one there, and the rack and pinion and the little drive gear. If it isn't that, the only other thing I've read about is just the magnets around there, but let's see. If that's the case, we'll just have to buy a new head unit and see how we get on. Right, let's get this back together and we'll see if it skips. And we'll switch it on. So I'll play it through for quite a long time and just see if it skips. Obviously I don't want to keep that playing. One, the video will be too long. Two, I'll probably get a copyright strike. So I'll play it for quite a while, jump around and see if it's fixed it. So far so good. Well, I've played it all the way to the end. I didn't play everything of every track, but it seems to be behaving fine. And then you saw when I pressed stop and it retracted, it seemed to go pretty smoothly. So we'll put the front cover on, we'll tidy up the wiring, make sure everything's plugged back in, put the cover on, and I think we're done. So it looks like I might have got lucky there, cleaning the lens and putting the grease around all the mechanism. Seems to have done the trick. We'll take it back in the house and give it a long-term test. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.